Hey, hello, Slum guys. What's going on? Haarris here for the JAMS Football Show, the Week 5 edition. And today we have a special guest for you this evening. It's Omar Abbasi, QB of the Spartans.
Hey, how you doing, Haarris?
Not much. Pretty good. I'm doing pretty well. Pretty well. Can't complain. I know we tried to do the show last time, but there were some technical difficulties on my end, and we ended up recording a full show with no audio. But
Yeah.
Omar will be joining me this time as we go through our usual slate of power rankings and predictions. And you know what? We're going to start off retaining the top spot this week. We have the Boone Bounty Hunters. What do you have to say about Boone, Omar?
Well, I agree. I have Boone on the top spot, and I think Boone definitely came in the most prepared this season. You could see it, the way they send guys in motion. They're mixing it up. They're getting both tight ends involved in the offense. They were definitely ready to play. Most prepared team in the league this year, for sure.
Oh, yeah, and it shows. Like, the way that everything's just clicking for them. And you know what? Like, if I don't know if you got a chance to watch the video on the forums, I always considered Boone more of a finesse team. I mean, when we're speaking of finesse teams, we're talking about the guys who are mostly focused on the passing game, like Boone.
Right,
Yeah,
the skill players.
yeah. So Boone, Swag is another one. Meanwhile, the teams with the more muscle or brawn are basically like the U and Spartans primarily, where I think the line play outperforms secondary and receivers and all that.
Well, I would put Dime City and the Knights and heavy hitters in that category too. They got some big boys on the line.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Because I always considered Dime City and heavy hitters.
Well,
Before
heavy hitters in the Knights for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Big guys on the line there.
All right. So, yeah, for Boone, I was impressed how they scored 2 touchdowns against a team that didn't give up any previously.
Yeah. I did watch the video, but it was on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember much about it. I know there was a few turnovers in that game, and that was setting up good field position for both teams. And both teams took advantage of it, man. And, that's what happened. Boone did a good job taking advantage of that and made the plays they needed to win.
Yeah, and then the thing I was always focused on was, I mean, I'm a lineman. I always watch line play. But the matchup between Ahmed Faraj, I never know how to pronounce his name, and Omar Yusuf, that was a fun one for me. Just because, like, the way they both play. Farag is always a speed rusher, and Omar Yusuf's straight brawn. And they're both, like, 2 defensive player of the year candidates for me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I didn't pay much attention to it. I'll go back and watch it again because I like to see the lines go at it.
Like I said, I'm a lineman, so I always watch this. But, yeah, at number 2, then who do you have at number 2?
I left the Knights there. I think the Knights deserved it. I thought it was a good game, and I don't think they lose a spot from that performance.
So I thought I would be the only one. I actually kept the Knights there too. I just like this team a lot, especially defensively. I don't know how I feel about Jeff DeSuter at quarterback, though.
See, I mean, he's definitely a smart QB. He's not making any mistakes, and he can run. So he's always putting them in a. I mean, he keeps him in a good spot usually in the games. He's not trying to do too much, and he can throw the ball. So I think it's just a matter of time before they start scoring more points and putting more points up consistently. Mm-hmm. But they're one of those teams where the offense definitely has to catch up to the defense.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But
like I said,
at number 2 in these rankings, though. So, I mean, they're not that far behind.
Mm-hmm. And, like, for me, the one thing I did notice about this game is that I saw a lot of QB runs from both teams, not just the Knights. But I did feel like Jeff DeSuter took off more than he passed, honestly.
Yeah. Well.
All right. Who do you have at number 3?
Number 3, I got Swag.
Okay.
I left them there. I know they gave up a lot of points, which is a little bit concerning to VS. They do. They run. They rush their 3 linemen. If they don't get a pass rush, they leave those guys on the back end exposed. I think VS took advantage of that. And honestly, VS in that game, 2 of their picks came off of the receiver's hands, so they were set up good field position for Swag there. So if that guy's able to secure those passes, the game might turn out differently. But still, Swag is a high-powered offense. You got to respect that. They're able to air it out, even if they're not throwing for a good percentage. They're not afraid to keep taking their shots, and they're going to run up the score when they can. And it's hard for other teams to keep up with that offense. That's the bottom line.
And yeah, they did beat the new look VS, but I was actually kind of surprised about how close VS kept it score wise. But I think I'm going to talk more about VS later. Swag is
Yeah.
also number 3 for me.
Okay.
And honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I think I kept the top 6 completely same for me. I couldn't justify moving anyone in the top 6. But how about you? Who do you have at number 4?
Number 4, I have yours truly, the Spartans.
Uh-huh.
I can't if I rank us lower than that, I won't hear the end of it from my teammates. So they'll probably get on me for ranking us 4th, knowing those guys. But we lost to Swag. We haven't played Boont into the Knights yet, so maybe that'll change once we have a meeting with one of those teams.
Those top 4 matchups are always important. I mean, I watched your guys' game. I just got a quick look at it, and you know what? You guys did take care of business against the heavy hitters. But what really stood out to me is you guys did look evenly matched for the first half rather. But then the second half became a whole different story. There, I felt like your defensive line was getting to the quarterback. You guys were just making more and more plays. And I kind of do like how Sally does. I can't pronounce his last name. He does look like back to himself. I know he had a season or 2 ago where he wasn't fully healthy.
Yeah, he's our D line played great in the second half for sure. Actually, they put on a lot of pressure on him in the first half too. The one time we lost contain is when the QB took advantage of it and got around the edge and ran it in for a touchdown. But the line played well, and Shadi knows how to use his height. He's faster than people think, and he's a playmaker in the passing game for sure.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of defensive player of the year candidates, I think Hassan Hamdan has to be up there as well, just because he's always in the backfield. He's just blown by guys. I'm enjoying watching this year.
He's got a good motor, and he always makes 2 or 3 big plays for us every game for sure. And wouldn't be the same defense without him.
All right, number 5, heavy hitters. What you got about them? You just played them.
Well, I actually have him at number 6.
Oh, okay.
I really like the QB's footwork. QB's really good. You could tell he's played the position before. He throws a nice ball. They got a huge line, so he's going to have time to throw and pick defenses apart. So they're a good, sound team, but I do have them at 6. I have them behind Dime City. But yeah, I mean they're definitely a sound team. They just need to keep their composure and stick to their game plan. And I know they're off to kind of a rough start. I think they're 1-3 maybe, or 1-2.
Yeah, it's not like that.
But
I think it's 1-1-1. Oh no, 1-2-1. I'm looking at it right now.
But I'd be surprised if they're not around 500 or better at the end of the season.
I did like how their linebacker, number 24, the guy who's at the top of the weekly score predictions, Mauricio Granados, played. But yeah, so I have heavy hitters at number 5. Did you say who you have at number 5 yet?
I have Dime City at 5.
Okay, who do you have at number 6?
Number 6 is where I have heavy hitters.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I have the Hurricanes there. They got blessed by the bye week. How about number 7?
That's where I have the Canes. So it's 5, 7. Our order's a little shifted.
I did notice how in the mid-tier it did get wonky.
I played against Dime City and heavy hitters. I think Dime City's defense was more stout. It was harder to move the ball, and I think their offense is getting better. Their QB's settling in. They switched QBs in the middle of our game, so I think their QB's a good runner. So I have them ahead of heavy hitters, and then the Canes. I saw the one video against the Union. Actually, I was there in person. They played well, man. The QB played really well, but it felt like the Union really squandered a lot of opportunities in that game for me. So I mean, I'm not sleeping on the Canes. I'm not gonna say really anything bad about them because they got some playmakers. Collis looks like he's back on top. He looked great against the Union, and he's gonna be a problem. I mean, so we're actually playing them this week, and we're getting ready for a good matchup for sure.
Collis has always been a great athlete. A guy I'd say at least about 60 pounds lighter than me, and his lifts trump all of mine. So, yeah, he's a phenomenal athlete. So, yeah, I have Dime City at 7. I moved them up a spot. And the one thing that they finally got not one offensive touchdown, but actually 3. And Yeah, I got an earful from it in the forums.
Yeah. They were able to take advantage of good field position. They picked Rezaboff. One of the picks got them set up real close to the red zone, and I mean they took advantage of it. And if with Gordon and Haarris, those two guys, man, those guys are trouble on offense. And if they get them the ball and they continue to make plays, and the QB's getting out of the pocket and avoiding pressure, I mean, they're not going to be an easy out by any stretch of the imagination in any of these games.
All right, who do you have at number 8?
Number 8, I got the Union.
I have them there as well. And you know what? Oh, go on. Say what you were at the game.
They just, against the Canes, they were missing a bunch of guys. They had like their whole line reshuffled, but they had pretty much all their playmakers.
Okay.
And then last week against Dime City late in the first half, they lost most for the game. He kind of re-aggravated his hammy. So they were
okay.
I mean, but I don't know if the outcome would have changed. But I mean, most of the type of player that could flip a game real quick. I just think it's hard for me to rank them this low because I know they're really good. To me, they're the best team at in-game adjustments by far. They have the guys that are able to judge how a game is going and make necessary adjustments to get things back in keel for them. So I mean, it's a weird spot for me putting them at 8, but I think that's where they need to be right now.
So at the beginning of the year, I scrutinized the Hurricanes for not being the team of old. They definitely were. I thought they definitely weren't going to be as good, but I didn't realize that the Union would be the team that actually wasn't going to be as good this year. And they're fading fast. It's a little bit worrisome. At number 9, I have the Gladiators, and they beat my team in a game where I actually slept through my alarm. It was a 7:30 game. Set my alarm for 6 o'clock. Definitely didn't wake up. The one thing I do want to know is Mahmoud. I can't even say his last name. One of my friends, he's racking up the stat sheet with the sacks, tackles, and picks. What do you have to say about the Gladiators?
I don't know Mahmoud. I don't really think I've seen them play yet this year, but they played 4 games now and they have 12 points. They need to score more. They need to get better consistency out of their offense if they want to make the playoffs. I think they're capable of it. They definitely got some playmakers on there on that side of the ball. It's just a matter. I think they still need some time to gel. They got a lot of new faces in there. But I mean, they're always a pretty tough defensive team. They're always a pretty physical line. So it's never an easy game with the Gladiators, even though they've got the turnover. But they need to get more points up on the board, man. 3 points a game is not going to cut it.
So at number 10, I have Code Red. I don't know who you have at number 10.
Same. I got Code Red.
Yeah. And then so at number 11, VS, and even though we always rank VS number 11, I think they're a lot better than they were over the past couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, I mean it's Darshik is like going. He's like hiring guns. It looks like.
Yeah, he's not even in that quarterback anymore. He's a guard.
No, I know. I saw that. But those guys, man, they got some athletes there all of a sudden, and they look like they're going to be a hard team to stop offensively. The QB looked like he was making some nice throws and working the pocket well. From the video, the skill players look good.
Especially the guy in the mask.
Yeah. I mean, that's. But defensively, it still looked like they gave up a lot to Swag. Need to shore that up. They might score 20 points a game, but if they're giving up 28 points a game, I mean, it's still not a very good recipe there. I'm just afraid next week Darshik's going to show up with 2 6'4", 350-pounders on the team.
Hey, with the way this trend's going, it very well might happen.
So I'm kind of hoping. I'm kind of wishing we had them early on the schedule instead of late now. When looking at the schedule a couple weeks ago, I was like, all right, we might have a towards the end of the season with VS, but it's looking like the exact opposite now.
Yeah, I used to joke about teams having a VS bye. They're not a bye team anymore.
It doesn't look like it, man.
All right, so let's move on to our pick'em, just in the interest of time. This first game of the week, Spartans versus Hurricanes. You guys are 6.5-point favorites. Any comment?
I'm going to pass on it. We just know we're ready for a good fight, and we're up for the challenge.
All right, so I have you guys winning 19-12. How about you pick the second game for me since it's my team? Knights versus
Yeah, the
Code
night
Red.
red. Yeah, whatever the spread is, I'm taking the Knights with the points.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah,
that's a 10 and a
I
half
just
point thing.
think you're gonna. I think you're gonna have a hard time putting up points against that defense. And if they turn you guys over, so I'm thinking three scores, maybe
Oh, wow.
18 or 20 to nothing. I'm
Okay.
not going to give you the gentleman's shutout.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
I hope you guys prove me wrong. I got friends on that team. I hope you guys pull it off. Because
All right,
honestly,
so, go on.
yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I was going to just move on to the next game, which is the heavy hitters as 5.5 point favorites against VS.
Yeah,
5.5 points. Are
if
we
I'm taking
respecting
the
VS too
spread,
much?
if I'm taking the spread, I'm taking VS.
Okay.
They can score against heavy hitters and vice versa. I think it's going to be, like a 13-12 type game. I'm going to take heavy hitters because I trust the quarterback more. I don't know if I've seen enough from the VS guy yet, but heavy hitters better be ready because VS looks like they're ready to play now. But I
All
got
right.
heavy hitters 13-12.
All right, so
What do you
I
got?
went a little high on this. I actually went 26-20 heavy hitters. I
Okay.
Maybe I'm respecting VS too much. Maybe I'm respecting the heavy hitters too much. But that's just my prediction. Boonton Bounty Hunters versus Union. 12.5 points for Boonton.
Yeah, that's too much against the Union.
Wow.
I think Boonton will win, but I think the Union will cover that. I know the playoffs last year. Boonton spanked the Union pretty good. And I don't think Union forgets that either. I got like a 14-12 type game. I don't think it'll be a
Wow.
blowout by any stretch of the imagination.
So you gave Union a lot more respect than I did. I said it was going to be a blowout. I said 34-13 Boonton.
No, the Union isn't going to give up a 30 spot, man. That's not going to happen. There's no way. There's no way that's happening.
All right,
No
so last game.
The one thing
Go on.
Union's got to be careful of with Ardell. He's been really aggressive. Don't test him because he can pick one and then return it like the Canes did that kickoff. So
Okay.
if he gets a pick six, then it might be a little closer to that. But I think Union will be ready to go.
All right, so last game of the week. Swag laying 7.5 to Dime City.
Yeah, again, I think Dime City's defense is better than people think. Playing them, I played both teams. I think the Dime City D played better than the Swag D against us. And part of that maybe had to do with us. We made a lot of mistakes in that Dime City game. We did clean some of it up before the Swag game, but I think Swag will win, maybe like 14-7. But I've kind of been going back and forth, giving DC maybe a second touchdown, but I got Swag 14-7.
You know what? I never really thought much of Swag's defense. I thought they were more of the bend a lot, but don't completely break. Just make sure the offense outscores everyone. So I have Dime City scoring 18 on Swag, but I have Swag narrowly pulling this one out by an extra point, 20-18.
Okay.
All right. So I do have one quick question for you, and I've had a couple of certain talks with people, and this is just a random one. Who do you think is the best JAMS player of all time? Because I know a lot of the older guard like to consider certain other players, and I consider other players. So who do you think? Yeah.
Of all time?
Yeah. We're about, I think this is maybe 8 seasons in? Maybe 9.
You catch me off guard a little bit, but all time, I mean, if you look at the championship teams and the consistent big plays in those games, I mean, it's maybe a little bit of a homer pick for me because he's cousin, but I mean, Muss has come up huge in big spots over and over and over again over his career, and he's always there. He's always making big plays and big tackles on defense too, not just offense. So I'm gonna go with my man. I'm gonna go with Muss, man. That's Bob Bessie.
And honestly, that's a pretty safe pick. Like, he's still one of the top receivers. I think he's leading the league in touchdowns and maybe receptions, or he's in top 5 in like a couple receiving categories. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a personal selection yet, but I do have some bias towards others. but mostly the newer players.
Okay.
Like
Who do you got?
I mean, there's a lot to pick from. For me, like I thought Kyle was really good on both sides of the ball, and it was his blocking's always been underappreciated. But I thought his brother Gary was even better. Gary's
but Gary never played.
Yeah, that's the problem. Gary never showed up. So
he played like one game over 2 years span.
And Kyle's my buddy, so I do have a little bit of homerism to him. But Dave Kilkenny as a quarterback and a receiver back in the day was really good. Kareem was good, but I don't think he.
Yeah, well, Kareem was great actually.
Yeah.
Kareem's probably the best lineman this league's ever seen.
Oh, wow. Opinion. Okay.
But on the defensive side, because he was playing tight end on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, he's a monster, Kareem. So,
all right.
I mean, I didn't really think of him, but yeah, that's not a bad. And that guy's still in shape, dude. He comes like once a year, and that guy's still a monster, man.
Yeah. All right. Any closing thoughts, Omar?
No, actually just one real quick thing. Just, be safe out there, everybody. Nobody's, I took a nice shot this week. I don't think there was any malice intent in it. It was one of those plays where the field flips and it's a flag league. So maybe my mistake, but I don't really have my head on a swivel, after an interception, but on, when the field flips or on kickoffs and on punt returns, just, if you see a guy's numbers at the back of his jersey, just there's no need to hit him. If you're about to blindside someone, just get in the way. Nobody wants to get hurt in these leagues. It's all for fun. It's all in good fun. And, just be safe out there. That's my only thing.
As a guy who's seen a couple of the videos, but it's not all of the videos that are posted on the forums, there have been some bigger hits. A lot of them were unintentional, but yeah, ultimately this is a flag league. It's a rec league.
The majority of them, in my opinion, aren't intentional. I just think that maybe there's a lot of new people coming into the league, and not everybody really knows the rules.
Yeah.
But and I also want to apologize because after I took my shot, I screamed out an obscenity, which is
flagged?
also a penalty. It should have been. I think the refs let it go because I think they realized they missed one.
Okay.
I thought it was offsetting penalties, but if they threw the flag, they would have been justified to do that. But I apologize. I know there's kids out there watching on the field and stuff, and I know better than that. So I won't let it happen again. I apologize for that.
All right. Let's make sure we stay safe. I mean, a lot of people there do rely on their hands and fingers and legs to make a living.
Yeah.
Actually, one of my favorite players, Samuel Sumra, he's a surgeon. He literally said he had to give up jams because if anything happened to his hands, he couldn't make a living. He's a surgeon. So, all right. So I guess that's it for us this week. I'll catch you later. Thanks for joining me, Omar. It was fun.
Hey, one more quick thing. Who you got tonight? San Diego or Denver?
Oh, my God. San Diego's so trash. It has to be Denver.
San Diego's gonna find a new creative way to lose. That's what I think.
Oh my God! And plus, the no-fly zone is an amazing defense. I love watching that team. That pass rush is unbelievable. Von Miller's a beast.
Yeah, he is.
All right, man.
All right. Well, enjoy the game tonight. I'll see you guys. Take care, Jams. I'll see you guys out there on the field. Be safe.
All right, salam, man.
All right, Haarris. Take care.